the stakes have never been higher in any individual game for Jim Harbaugh in terms of career and legacy. Obviously, the game in Ohio State to go to the Big Ten title game was bigger, but in terms of his standing, he was never, win or lose, going to be in trouble with that Ohio State loss 6 years ago. In terms of his legacy, security, and standing, he has never had a more important game than what's coming up on this Saturday. And I saw this interaction on Twitter today or yesterday, whatever it was. I don't know, it all washes together between you and a Michigan fan. And there was some exchange about, he says if Michigan State wins on Saturday, next Saturday, you got to fire Jim Harbaugh. And your response was, you don't fire a guy after 8 games when they would be 7-1. If they end up 8-4 or worse, I would consider it. I thought he should have been gone after last season. Most of that I agree with. It's that middle section. If they end up 8-4 or worse, you would consider it. Come on.
If they lose the 4 big games, or even if part of those 4 are, I don't know, Maryland or Indiana, yeah. But I'm not Ward Manuel. To me, the Michigan State game, if they lose, it would suck. But what if they lose to Michigan State and beat Penn State and Ohio State? To me,
I'm with you.
That takes away the Michigan State loss. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Ohio State's going to run the table the rest of the way anyway over all these teams. I think their little blip was a blip early in the season. I think they're still the best team in the Big Ten. I think, but who knows?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, Vegas would agree. Yeah. There's no worse trope with fans than it's a fireable offense. My buddy Adam Baydoun, said if Dan Campbell switches Penei Sewell to right tackle, I would fire him on the spot. Like the whole fire him on the spot thing is so overdone.
Look, I've gotten away from that a little bit because I've gotten older and wiser. I think I've become paid. Now Harbaugh's a different story because 7 years is enough. And if you can't at least beat Ohio State once in 7 years, that's a problem. The only saving grace, if they did do the 8-4 thing, is if in the last few games he lets J.J. McCarthy play and you say, oh, my God, this guy is really, really good. Well, we're building something. We have some really good young players coming in. That's the only way. But, yeah, if they're 8-4 and the losses are to the big boys again, yeah, I'd fire him.
Well, I'm doing the math.
But he's not going – but I'm not one of those who's going to sit there and say Ward Manuel wouldn't fire him. I really don't know if it's Ward's job. Who the hell knows? Schlissel's leaving. He didn't like football. Maybe the portal can be opened up a little bit more than it has been in the past. They're at a huge disadvantage for that. I don't know. It's as a Michigan fan, it sucks. But I've been on this Michigan is Iowa crusade for the last 5 years. That's what they are. Haven't won a Big Ten title in 2004, right? 2006.
Yes, 2004.
Okay.
Yep.
So they usually get between 9 and between 8 and 10 wins every year. You had the few that have been bad, worse, and you've had the few that have been better. But this is what they are. And college football is not the way it was back when they were, Ohio State and Michigan every year. And people just have to become used to it, and they're not. It's this, as a Michigan fan, I can't stand this whole thing. But we're Michigan. You're not. Yeah, you're right. You are Michigan. You win 8 games every year, and that's the way it is. And if the school is okay with being Iowa, and they don't get in trouble, and the kids graduate and all that kind of stuff, that's why they won't fire them, because they're Iowa, and people in Iowa aren't firing Kirk Ferentz.
I mean, I could argue, and Iowa's a fine comparison, but at least they've been to Indianapolis.
Would they have been to Indianapolis if they played in the East?
Maybe, I don't know. I saw Damian Terry go on the road and take care of Ohio State. I don't know. We don't know that, but either way,
oh yeah, it's embarrassing. Michigan State's been there a few times. I mean, yeah,
3 times.
It sucks.
Yeah. It's nice. I could give you the whole tour if any Michigan fans are interested in Indianapolis. I'll show you around.
No, I understand that. I just don't think they're not. Historically, they're great, but history stops at a certain point. Recent history, they're not great, and that's the way it is.